Okay, team, today we are talking about deadlifts. This is a movement that you already do in your daily life, whether you're aware of it or not. We are going to talk about what it looks like from a conventional standpoint. There are a whole bunch of deadlift variations that you are going to learn, maybe not in the next 4 weeks, but definitely if you stay as a CFT athlete. The conventional deadlift is very, very straightforward, and we are going to start just practicing the hinge mechanics, making sure that we keep that back flat, and then I'm going to have you pause the video. We're going to teach you top-down deadlifts. Don't worry, I'll show you what that means, and then we are going to talk about picking something up from the ground. So let's talk about just those deadlift mechanics without any weight whatsoever, practicing the hinge. So a hinge, if you think of a door frame, my legs are the frame and my torso is the door, and I'm hinging at my hip, okay? This is the hinge of the door frame. So if you notice, I managed to keep my back flat and I only bend here. So you have the ability when you bend to hinge at your hip or bend here, okay? Notice how that might not be such a great thing, especially if I was trying to pick something up. So you're going to put your hands on your hips. You are going to have a slight bend in your knee. We don't lock those knees out. And then we are going to have a neutral spine, which means that my head position doesn't change as I go down to the ground. And squeeze my butt, press into the ground to stand up. Squeeze, butt, press, legs, stand up. Okay, I want you to stop the video and I want you to go practice that following what we've written in Sugar WOD. Very, very important that you record yourself because good hinge mechanics are super, super important when we start practicing those Olympic lifts and to make sure that we keep your back safe. Go ahead and stop the video and I will see you in just a second. And now you're back. You practice your hinge mechanics and you're confident that when you bend over, you're bending from here and not the lower back, yeah? Now we're going to practice our top-down deadlift with some weight. So I have 3 options here for people. If you're training from home, you potentially have some dumbbells or a kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, then maybe you have a liquid laundry soap. So what we're doing here is we're going to practice the deadlift from the top down. So of course you have to deadlift it to stand it up, but you don't have to worry about the perfect mechanics yet. I want you to get that barbell up to that leg, and we're standing tall, right? Now from here, we're using those hinge mechanics, but I want to make sure that I use my arms and my upper back to keep that barbell close so that as I hinge over with that soft bend in my knee and that neutral spine looking down to the ground, the barbell is staying close to my body. It's not out here, using my arms to press it up. And then pressing into the ground, squeezing that butt, I stand up, okay? Down to the ground, neutral spine, keeping that barbell close, pressing into the ground, squeezing the butt, and standing up. If I am using dumbbells, those dumbbells are going to be tracking along my legs the entire time, and they shouldn't come out in front of me. So it's going to look like this, okay? And then if I have an object like a kettlebell or laundry soap, I start it here, and the same thing. You're not going to let that dumbbell get away from you. In fact, right now, it's probably hidden between my legs. I'm doing it right. Standing up, pressing into the ground. Okay? And I don't have to worry about how deep I go or how far to the ground. I'm not trying to get the dumbbell to touch the ground or the barbell to touch the ground. Rather, I'm working on hinging at my hip, keeping that back flat. How do I do that? Make sure that those shoulders are down and back, right? Gauge that core, and I'm making sure that my object stays close to my body. Go ahead and stop the video and go practice what is written in Sugar WOD. See you in just a second. And you're back for the third one. We are going to talk about your deadlift. Hopefully you've recorded yourself and you've looked at what you were doing when we did the top-down deadlift, making sure that it looked just like mine, that you are using your arms and your back to keep that object nice and close, and you are hinging at the hip with that soft bend in our knee. Now we're going to talk about what we do when we pick something up from the ground. So we're going to pretend that my barbell has weights on it, okay, and I'm starting at mid-shin. So for the deadlift, that barbell is right against my shins, okay? I'm looking at the ground. My shoulders are over my toes, and when I stand up, I'm pressing into the ground, keeping that back flat, squeezing my butt to stand that object up. And then I want to go down to the ground, reversing that motion, same setup, and then driving up, using those legs and the butt to press up and not my back. If I was going to use a kettlebell or laundry soap or something fun like that, it's the same concept here, and I stand up, keeping the object close to me, standing up to the ground, and then back down. The object is going to start in between my feet. If I'm doing deadlifts with my dumbbells, I'm going to scrunch down to the ground, reach them, and then same thing. Up, and then eyes come forward at the last moment. Okay, you're going to go ahead and give this a try. This will end our deadlift sequence. I want you recording what you're doing when you pick it up from the ground. Post it in the Circle app, or you can, of course, DM me on the Circle app and show me the video. Let's get you successful with this. Now I can talk. Let's get you successful with this, because this is one of the most important movements that we do in CrossFit, where you potentially could get injured if done incorrectly. And it's also something we do in daily life, and we want to have those really solid, good mechanics. Give it a go, and I'll see you for the Metcon.